After cutting these back to almost nothing, don't mind me, I was pulling weeds. Look how beautiful. I need to cut back the grass. These things have gotten. So Stacy here. Today is the 26th of August, and today is going to be in the 80s, and it's the warmest day in the 7-day forecast, and it's been unseasonably cool. Over here in this garden bed, these are looking good. The caladiums are looking good. The bobo is looking a little suspect. I think it's fine, but it got transplanted like 3 times, so it's not happy right now, but it's still living. I need to cut back that barberry. Yeah. My sunshine ligustrum looked like it grew a little bit. That would be that bright chartreuse green plant right there in frame. Foxglove looked like it survived the 2nd transplant. I did pick up a powwow white on clearance, and I plopped that there. Figure we needed a little late summer white element here. I might change my mind. The rose are coming back for a 2nd time. My little frog fountain, my solar frog fountain, is doing good. No sun, no water. Like right now, I walk through it, and there it is. It stopped. And now it's back on. My salvias came back for a 2nd round of blooms. And even this one down here that I did not deadhead came back for a 2nd round. And these got a lot bigger than I expected them to. They're almost my height. So that is the lava flare hydrangea. And yeah, so there's a pair of them there. And there are the pinky winkies over there. And I gotta cut this back. These have already bloomed and put on seed heads. My rose bush is just as big and awesome as it was earlier in the season, or just about. Smells wonderful to walk past here. The alyssum appreciates the shade that it's getting here. This one came back. The ones in the back in full sun did not come back. Sweet potato vine is finally starting to run, or vine. And these look like they're starting to put on some buds. They bloom purple. Coneflowers are at their tail end. Got a moth feeding here on this zinnia. And these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plants. Delphiniums. I put a Lychnis right there, but the bunnies keep eating it down, so we shall see if it survives. My sedum that I did the Chelsea chop with are just now starting to show a little bit of color, and they're way shorter than they were last year. They were probably double the height last year. But they look a lot better than they did earlier in the season, when they were being infested by ants that just wouldn't leave them alone no matter what I did. The peonies still look good, no powdery mildew, although I might have spoken too soon. That might be powdery mildew. But they're still hanging in there. So that's the front garden bed. Everything looks beautiful, and the pollinators are absolutely loving it. So we're going to go to the side of the house. All of these have come and gone. They've bloomed, and they're done for the season. Now we have the dahlia, which is finally starting to show some color, not fully open yet. This little transplant is doing great. This is a hardy hibiscus. The dahlia was spreading all over here, and it killed or suffocated my zinnias. I did put a white swan echinacea over here, which I found on clearance. This rose did bloom the other day. And the other one over here is still has a bit of bug damage, but it's putting out some new blooms. So that's the Eustacia Vi David Austin rose. And I'm not sure how many of these videos you guys watch, the grasshopper watch, but I did move. I had one of these over there on the end. I moved it, and after I cut it all the way back to nothing, they came back with nice green growth. And the ones I did in the back with a different bloom, they actually rebloomed, which is awesome. These are not mine. They were on sale, so I bought them for a friend. These have bloomed and are now taking a break. I finally cut these back. Hopefully I get a nice flush of blooms. That's the same plant there. This lemon balm is enjoying all this rain and cool weather we've been getting. And this is the orange Queen Lime Orange is what it is, that one. I'll probably save seed from that, but so far I haven't been impressed with the colors that I'm getting off of it, so we shall see. I think this rose might have died. It kept trying, but it's been such a wet season. I don't know. There's this part down here still green, so maybe it will survive. These, doesn't matter if I cut them back or not, they never rebloom. They never rebloom. They're only for the spring. My green stalk is doing okay. I got some dead stuff. I got some stuff that's living. This one is barely hanging on by a thread. There is a cucumber on there, but it's not doing much of anything. And this one died with the cucumber hanging in there. I haven't really been picking. Oh, this one looks promising. The plant looks healthy still, so this might be a good one. The tomato suckers that I pulled off, the Roma tomatoes down there, are doing great and are now fruiting. We got good sized fruit here. Basil, we got thyme, all kinds of beans, tomatoes, the strawberries. I need to cut these runners. I didn't realize that they steal energy from the main plant. And look how far this runner is. It's all the way from the top all the way down to the last one. I do have to propagate them into another pot because these strawberries are amazing. I want to make sure that I have some for next year, so I have to seed them or root them in a different pot. I have some boxes over there to burn. Not letting y'all see that, my mess. The fig tree. I finally picked the 2 figs that were on it, and the one that remains on it, if it's still there. I don't know. Where is it? Might have fallen off or eaten by a bug. But I see some more buds over on the other branch. Ah, here it is. And some more zinnias, and whatever this is climbing up the fig tree. I have no idea what it is actually. But when the fig tree goes in, it goes in for the winter. I did cut back and fertilize these pots because they were looking crazy. And I need to spin this pot around because this wonderful, beautiful zinnia plant is shading out my lime tree, which is the most important player in this thing. So I'm gonna turn that around so that my lime tree could get some sun. The zinnia took over the pot. I did cut back this lemon tree a little bit, and I cut back the ground cherries a whole lot. When I came back from vacation, this plant was looking disastrous. Lemongrass, fever grass is looking like it needs a little greening, a little nitrogen. And my elephant ear is somewhat thriving, but this one is doing better than that one. Yeah. I still have these plants over here to put in the ground. These are bee balm. And columbine. These three are columbine. And over here, this bright blue, yellow bloom that you see, those are the daylilies that I cut back. The whole plant was looking like this, brown and dead. It was infested with aphids from the spring, so the plant never really thrived. I cut it all the way back to the ground. It grew back and bloomed, so I'm actually surprised. These plants are getting out of control. Look like I'm gonna have to divide them. So far, it doesn't look like they're gonna rebloom for me, but they put on a lot of growth. Like this one is going well beyond its borders. Here go my Jerusalem peas, and they look like they need something to run on now, but there's not enough time for it to actually produce anything for me to get peas. My cornflower look like it's dead in the middle. Look like that needs to be divided. I had all kinds of random flowers that were growing on the outside that the seeds had fallen, so I just kind of dug them up, the snapdragons and marigolds that were being shaded out, and I put them here and there to give a little bit late season color, because snapdragons like it cooler and the marigolds don't mind it either. See them butterflies in there? Those are I believe those are my cabbage looper butterflies. Okay. Here's another plant. Oh wow, it actually has a fruit on it. I don't think it will come to anything, but this is my next attempt at growing a winter squash, because the bugs killed my first attempt. My carrots are coming along. I planted these just before I went on vacation, just so they wouldn't die sitting in the pots. All the beans you see, I haven't picked any beans all season. I'm just gonna let them dry on the plant and then I'll pull them out. This, it was cut all the way back to the ground. It's doing beautiful. So in the future, I know that after they bloom, or if they look terrible, just go ahead and cut them back and they should be all right. This is oregano right there. My thyme, yarrow, the okra. Finally putting out okra. And the sunflowers they have gone absolutely nuts. But I'm not mad at it. The hardy hibiscus, I'm loving this year. They have so many blooms on them. It's like it's never ending. It just keeps coming. They just keep coming. And over here, my tomatoes have looked better. It's been a rough time for the varieties that I grew this year. Only the Sun Gold and the Green Tiger are really thriving. Everything else kind of went kaput. My peppers, they're doing good. This is what the ripe one looked like, and here's what a unripe one looks like. That is the jigsaw. And here I have the Scotch bonnet. I picked them all off the other day. There's a few more ripening. And here are the sun golds. I will forever grow this plant. Not only does it taste good, it just does well for me. It really does. I need to let go of this tomato plant, but I keep trying. I was gonna pull them out, but they're still putting out flowers, and like I didn't have like a great tomato year. Then the tomatoes that I got, they ended up wasting because the timing just wasn't right. Like I had tomatoes that I picked before I left that weren't fully ripe, and because I didn't want fruit flies in my house, I put them in the fridge, but now they're not going to be ripening anymore and they're not really good for anything. At least I just threw the whole basket of tomato over in the bush there. We have bell peppers. I picked off the big ones so that they can try and put on some new ones. And here is a pepper that I didn't intend to grow, but it's doing better than the regular bell peppers I did intend to grow. I planted all King of the North and Etuda bell peppers, and this one was somewhere in the mix. They mixed up the seed at the factory. I know I did not mix the seed up because I only planted those two varieties. So it wasn't me. The poblanos are doing good. I did not do a great job at supporting these plants this year. I really didn't. The peppers needed more support. Like, I feel like that bell pepper right there is gonna break the branch. And I had a horrible time with squash bugs this year. Every day I was out here picking off squash bugs and squash vine borers. It was just horrible. I don't know what I'm gonna do. All these plants need help. This one, I had too much water in that basin there, and so the plant got kind of crazy looking. I did fertilize everything that were in pots and bags, and hopefully everything will work out. Yeah, look at this, looking very chlorotic, like it needs some iron. And here's a Sugar Rush peach peppers. It's a very productive plant. I'll probably grow it again next year. I finally took out all the green cabbages. The red ones don't look like they're doing much of anything. But I did put in some peas, and I see they're coming up. See one there, a few there. And I've been using the kale, and the corn is doing better since it's protected. And I've been pollinating as best as I can by kind of shaking the plants. And the broccoli, it keeps on giving. I love it. Keeps on giving. And my cucumber that's under protection is still being attacked by those darn cucumber beetles. I don't know if he just flew off. That little bugger right there, the yellow and black one. Crawling up that metal. Yep. I do see a baby cucumber, and hopefully I get some cucumbers. I will squish that once I get under there. A callaloo, been eating callaloo, but now we got something eating on the callaloo. Oh no, wow. Okay, I have to get under there, see what's going on. It's starting to look like the one that was not on the cover. And here are my eggplants. And I did plant some lettuce down on the bottom there, but I don't think they're gonna come to anything because they don't have any good light source. So I'm just hoping for a good end of year tomato harvest. Oh no, I just saw a tomato that split from the rain yesterday. This is what happens when your tomato is almost ripe and it takes on more water after rain. So this is no good. And this one's fine. This one split as well. Oh, and this one split too. Darn. Yeah. So you're supposed to come out here and pick your blushing tomatoes before it rains, because this is what happens. They take on too much water and they split. Over here from the window, I was starting to see like my peaches are turning, they're starting to turn like they're blushing, but then the birds are also getting to them. Look at that. These are way bigger than I've ever had, but what's also happening is they're also cracking from the rain, but then they're also getting damaged from bugs. So it sucks. Look at this foolishness. So all the peaches that are like very visible are like somewhat damaged, but some of them look good. Some of them look decent. So within the next week or so, I have to pick them. and then prune the tree because it looks like I have some kind of bug damage. Some of the bugs burrow into the tree and they lay eggs, and then when they hatch, they eat or damage the fruits. My PG hydrangea, the blooms were so pretty. One day I came out here and I popped off a few to put in a vase in the house. And apparently the deers have been here again. And I never did cut back my rose bush. Oh boy, it's all the way in the tree. It looked like it's a part of the tree. And so far my transplant looks beautiful. And look at my comfrey. Oh my God. Wow. I want to make comfrey tea for fertilizer. However, I don't know if it can store over winter. I mean, the stuff really stinks, so I don't know if I store it outside over winter if it will kill the elements that you're using it for. So I haven't done anything yet. What I'm probably going to do is actually chop and drop it in my raised beds, actually. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh my God. Love it, love it, love it. And so far all of my trees are, look at my transplants are looking good. Yeah. Look, whole basket of tomatoes over there because they're overripe, underripe, and a combination of being overripe and underripe at the same time. Everything's looking good. Oh, got some germination on the kohlrabi. Nice. Got some weeds. Got some watermelon that's not gonna end up doing anything. Got a cantaloupe here that won't end up doing anything because it's just now starting to take off. And this is the bug, new to me this year, that's eating the holes in my callaloo. Ugh. Oh, there's another one. And we have a lot of debris of sunflower because the birds are having a wonderful time with the sunflowers right above here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some volunteers down here because I saw plenty of seeds down here in my bed. Some cracked and some not cracked. Hi, babe. And I cut back my scalloped squash all the way back, and I kind of tucked the stem into the ground so that it might root here because squash vine borers got over on this section. I cut all of it back because I had powdery mildew on every leaf, and hopefully it, makes a comeback. I did see where there was a baby squash on there. I'm not sure if that got pollinated or not. Probably not. And there's a honey nut in here as well. That's probably not going to do anything either. This year was rough in different ways, and it was good in some ways, but it's just been a slow season and things didn't really take off like it should have, or like it usually does. But this is pretty. This one I planted. Nope, this one was a volunteer. The one up there I planted. So I'm hoping for more volunteers over here next year. So that's my garden on, well, this is the last summer garden tour because the kids are going back to school next week and the temperatures are fluctuating between fall and late summer. So it's not very, the nights are getting cooler and cooler. Have a great day, y'all.